Hi YouTube, Night Ninja here, hope you're well. This is part 2 to my Gate Guardian deck profile where we talk about the combos. At the end of the last video I realised that I hadn't shown you what's in my extra deck. So I thought I'd include this at the start of this video before we go on to the combos. So I've got 3 Gate Guardian combined. Really good monster. That's the boss monster for this deck. I really like the effect because 3 times per turn, if my opponent targets any monsters on my side field or any cards, I can negate what they've activated, whether that be a monster effect or spell trap card. I negate it and then that destroys that card. So that's really good for protection. I try to get this card out first if I can, because once this card's out, if by for whatever reasons this leaves the field because my opponent, I can then special summon a level 10 or lower Gate Guardian monster from my deck or my extra deck, which opens up getting to some of the other fusion monsters quicker. And what's handy with this is you have to banish the pieces of Gate Guardian that you control. So Kajin, Sanga and Suijin. You banish them, and then whatever you banish allows you to summon these fusion monsters. Now with this one, it's the only one where it doesn't have to be what's on the field. If you got the pieces in your hand, field or graveyard, then you can banish it. So it's just easier to get this one out than it is the other ones in some respect. But it's just nice to get that one out nice and early. Then the next one I got 3 copies on is Gate Guardian of Wind and Water. Really handy card. It allows you up to 2 negates per turn on spell and trap cards, but it's once per chain. It's really handy. So my opponent activates, so say he activated Raigeki for example, I can join that chain and negate it, and then when they start another chain, again I got 1 negate. It's just a really handy card if you can get that out nice and early. And then when this one leaves the field to your opponent, you can bring back one of the pieces that was used to make it from your graveyard. You can special summon it, from the banish zone, sorry, you can special summon it. So a nice way to recycle the pieces. Then I've got 2 Gate Guardians of Water and Thunder. Really handy card. Twice per turn, I can choose 1 monster on the field and reduce the attack to 0. So that's helped me a couple of times in duels when my opponent has attacked and then I've activated this and them not realising what the effect was, and then they've decided not to replay the attack, and I've been able to clear boards quite easily with having it on the field. And the same effect as Wind and Water, when it goes you can bring back the 1 piece that made it. And then I've got 3 of the Gate Guardians of Thunder and Wind. Really nice card. Once per turn it lets you get 1 of your Gate Guardian spell trap cards from your deck and you can bring it out. And I like to pair that with my double attack Wind and Thunder, because it just lets you destroy a card that's on the field. It's just nice and easy, and it opens up things a little bit for you, especially if you've got something that's in your way. So I've got 3 of them, so that's my extra deck. So if I go through some of the combos, so the 2 most important cards in this deck is Labyrinth Wall Shadow and Labyrinth Heavy Tank, because they let you get the pieces that you need from your deck or your banish zone or your hand and put it here and continue spell cards. Because for Wind and Water, Thunder and Water and Thunder and Wind, you have to have the 3 pieces here in the continuous spell zone to be banished, otherwise you can't get these out. So if I wanted Thunder and Wind, I'd have to have Sanga and Kajin and then I'd banish them. Whereas with Gate Guardian combined, I could have 1 there, 1 in my hand, 1 in the graveyard, banish all 3 and out he comes. So these cards are very important because they let you get there quicker. So if I've got this out, what I'd do is I'd get one from my deck and I'd put it here, and then next turn I'd do the same thing. If I'm looking at, same with this, because you can normal summon this, but you can't attack the turn that you normal summon it, do the exact same thing, get my piece out and then see what I get on my next turn. Whereas what I hope for is I get this and this, and I can get 2 pieces, and what I usually do is I get Suijin and Kajin first, if I haven't got all 3 pieces, so I can bring out, sorry, wrong one, wind and water, because then I got those negates. Now, if I don't have this in my hand, what I'm looking for is my Shadow Ghoul, because when all I've got him for is I have him in my hand, I discard him to the graveyard, and I can search my deck for Labyrinth Wall Shadow, and then I can activate it and then start the combo, which works in well when I've got these 2 in my hand, because I can do that, bring that out, summon that, and get the pieces. And what's nice with this card here is that when there's an attack, so when during the battle phase, I can target one of my opponent's monsters with less than 1600 attack, and I can destroy it. And then with Labyrinth Heavy Tank, when he's used his effect to get one of the pieces, let's say we got Sangam from my hand or my deck, and I put him here, because I control a Wall Shadow card, Labyrinth Wall card, sorry, I can now destroy one card my opponent controls. It's just really handy to start clearing the front row. But what's also nice is if this is on the field, when my opponent clears an attack and that's in the graveyard, I can banish that, and I can destroy the attacking monster. It's the same if I attack that monster. So that monster is automatically destroyed thanks to Shadow Ghoul of the Labyrinth. So then, another card that I like to use to help me get the pieces out quicker is Fusion Deployment. Nice and simple. Activate it, reveal one of the my fusions. Let's say I went with Thunder and Wind, and I might already have Sanga in my hand. So what I'd do is I'd get Kazajin, and it'd go here on the battlefield in attack position, and then I can start getting stuff going then. So a really handy card that is. And then obviously if I've got my, where's he gone? My Thunder and Wind out, I will use its effect so that I can get my double attack Wind and Thunder. Or, well, I'd go for this if I needed to get rid of something on my opponent's side of the field and I wasn't quite strong enough to do it, or I didn't have any other cards. Or I'd go with Ryoku Guardian. It's a really nice card, because as long as my LP is lower than my opponent's, I can have their life points, and then what's left gets put onto my Gate Guardian monster's attack. So potentially if they were on 8,000, they're left on 4,000, I had 4,000, they would be on 6,500. Really handy. They're nice with these, when they're in the graveyard, I can banish them, and I can bring back to my hand one of my Gate Guardian pieces that are in the banish zone. And then this card, Solemn Judgment, ties in very well with this, because if I activate that, well, I'm guaranteed to have my life points lower than my opponent's. I was in one duel and I activated 2 of these. I ended up on 2,000 life points, and then they started to slow down their turns. The clock was running out, so I activated this, put them on 4,000, and then I activated my second one, which put them on the same as me, and then all of a sudden they tried speeding up, but it was too late. My monsters were stronger than theirs, and there was nothing they could do. So they're the combos I tend to use. It's just all about, this deck is purely all about getting these 3 cards in here as quick as possible, so that I can start summoning my different fusion Gate Guardian monsters. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If there's any questions that you'd like to ask, or if there's anything that you'd like to suggest, any recommendations, let me know. I will be doing some more videos showcasing some of my other decks that I've got, 'cause I've got quite a few. Some are just casual fun decks, others are slightly more competitive. But yeah, so if you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up, like and subscribe. I'll see you soon. Take care.